Hi guys, Sarah here. Today we are going to be looking at how to do the running or straight stitch. I've also heard this called many other things: dolphin stitch, porpoise stitch, stab stitch, basting stitch, gathering stitch, to name a few. Let me know if you've heard of more names for this stitch. This stitch is a very versatile, quick stitch to do. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by preparing my material. I'm going to line up my edges and pin everything in place. I like using these glass-headed pins over a plastic pin because I can take and iron over this later without worrying about melting my pin heads into the fabric. I will also frequently use these fun-colored gator clips to hold things in place. I often will also use them to hold my needle so I don't lose them, and I will often color code the needles for different projects so that I can easily find the needle for the project I'm working on. Because no, I don't have multiple projects going at once. Nobody ever has multiple projects going at once. Once I have everything lined up, I will also often mark my line that I am going to be stitching down. I find this makes it much easier to keep the line nice and straight. I found multiple ways to do this. You can either use the chalk pencils that are specifically designed for marking fabric. I've also used chalk and charcoal pencils that I've gotten from craft stores. And then sometimes I will even use a pencil, mechanical pencil, or if I really know that the seam's not going to show in the end and I can't find anything else, I'll use a pen if I really have to. So let's go ahead, clear all this extra stuff out of the way. We'll zoom in and get started. And let's go ahead and cut my thread. I will usually do a length of thread about as long as my arm. I know some people like to do it shorter. But I'm also going to be doubling up this thread. I always double up my thread when working with regular kind of sewing machine polyester thread. I find that it is less likely to break on me. So I'm going to thread my needle, tie it off in a knot at the end. Now I know that the fabric I am working with today has a fairly kind of a loose weave to it, so I'm actually going to kind of double or triple knot this so that it doesn't slip through. So to get started, I want to kind of bury or hide my ends between the two layers of fabric. So I'm going to come in here, come up from behind, and stab through my fabric. So I stab down, then I come back, come over, and I stab up, and then I go over a little bit, and I stab straight back down, and then I come over a little bit, and stab straight up, and then I come over, and stab back down. So when you do it this way, it is called a stab stitch. And while it can get you a nice even stitch. It isn't the fastest way to do this. I like to do this by taking and stabbing my needle up through the fabric just a little bit, and then diving it back down through, and then back up, and then dive it back down, and then back up, and back down, back up. And then I'm going to take and pull my needle through and really do 3 or 4 stitches all at once. So once again, I just take and dive back and forth all the way to the back, and then back to the front, taking small little pinches of fabric at a time. The benefit of this is you can do a whole lot of stitches very, very quickly. The downside of this stitch is it isn't very durable. If you take and pull on this stitch, if you don't have a knot here, it will pull right back out. If you do have a knot at one end, you can take and use this to gather things into nice little ruffles. By pulling on it. So if you want to prevent the thread from being able to pull or gather, here is a quick trick that I use. I turn this running stitch into a running back stitch. So what I will do is I will stitch along warmly for usually 2 or 3 inches or so. And then I will take and do 1 stitch where instead of going forwards, I stab backwards through it. So I'm going to come from here and I'm going to stab back in at the start of this one. And then I'm going to come back up and out right where I would normally start my next stitch. So I dolphin my way through this fabric here, and depending on the day, I'm often getting around 8 to 10 stitches per inch. We'll take a look here. So I'm usually doing about 1/8 of an inch. So if this is an inch here, if I line that up, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches here in an inch. Usually I try and go a little smaller, but this is a little bit thicker fabric and I'm trying to make these stitches big enough that you can really see them clearly. It's also why I'm using a contrasting color of thread. So once I've done an inch or 2, I take, stab back in, and then back out where I want that next thread to start. And this means that I now can't pull this out. If a thread breaks here at any point, it's only going to pull out that small section instead of letting the whole thing unravel. So I'm going to do a bit more of this, then we're going to flip it around and see how this looks from the front. So when I get to the end of my thread, now I only have an inch or two left, I'm going to take and tie things off. I'm going to do that by doing usually a back stitch, and then I'm going to come back up through it so that it kind of ties a knot. And I will usually do that a couple times. And then cut it off and start with a new thread. Let's go ahead and remove these pins and flip this right side out. Okay, and here you go. Here is that hem from the right side. I've really not even taken the time to iron this or anything like that yet. And you can see that even with having used a black thread on this white fabric, you really can't see that black thread much. And even when I really pull on this, you can only see it a tiny bit.